I'd like you to come down here when we get through, but if you have a statement from Sandy you'd like to read.
It would only be an explanation that Sandy gave me of what's going on, and you may be covering that, so this may be redundant.
Okay.
I'll stay out of there. When you're ready, I'll come down.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor, and thank you, council members, for being present for the award presentations for City Government Day 2022. Can you all hear me? Because I'm kind of short and this microphone's kind of tall.
You can bend it down.
And it doesn't really
Bend it down where you can take it off.
I don't want to break it either.
There you go.
And then we charge you.
Just getting help.
Oh. Okay, that's better. Before first off, I'd like to ask, is there anybody up at the podium besides Aaron that knows what City Government Day is? I know my next door neighbor didn't know when I asked her. So, Steve, do you know what City Government Day is? Okay, have you ever attended one?
I have not. I was going to, was it 3 or 4 years ago, but yeah, I know it's a great opportunity for the youth to experience what we experience here on Tuesday evenings, and you have a topic that you bring forward and vote on, and actually there may be a referral associated with one of your ideas that will come forward tonight. To stick around.
All right, first let me make mention of some people before I get into a short, I guess, briefing on the history of City Government Day. First, I'd like to thank the City Administrator, Aaron Oppenheimer. You can't believe how invaluable he is to me in the afternoon session. In fact, sometimes he makes life miserable in the afternoon session. But he helps me get the crowd going and keeping them involved and trying to stir things up a little bit. So, and with that, his administrative, I don't know if you call her secretary or assistant or what you call her, but Sandy Chong has been invaluable since Susan Kleiner left. She's done as good a job as Susan did, and I didn't think there was anybody that could duplicate the effort that Susan Kleiner put into making City Government Day successful. But Sandy's done a wonderful job, especially this year since we haven't had it in 2 years, and we were kind of restarting the whole process. So thanks to Sandy for a job well done. I mentioned Susan and the previous city administrator, to Aaron, Pat Cannon also did a wonderful job of helping me keep the students involved in the process and trying to simulate what a real city council meeting would be like. And so I want to thank Pat for his contributions. Also, there's Aaron Nagwa from the school system. Aaron is the head of the gifted and talented middle school segment, and he kind of chaperones the kids through this process every year. So Aaron, thank you very much for the efforts you continue to display. This year, we had another problem besides being off 2 years. I typically went to get the awards for this to the trophy place that was on the corner of Bird and Main Streets. Well, they're no longer there. And despite Sandy's best efforts, we didn't know where we were able to get the plaques made. Well, Dennis Norton, who is a past commander of the Legion as I am, seemed to know the owner of the trophy place that went out of business and where he had, who he had given his designs to. So Dennis got a hold of that person and made sure that the plaques were made, and lo and behold, we have the plaques thanks to Dennis Norton's effort. additional city staff, whoever is involved. I know Chris from or the chief from the fire department has a presentation every year. And I want to thank him for taking this event seriously and having his staff commit to doing the best they can to give the kids a real life experience. And lastly, I'm going to let Amy say a few words, and after that, I guess I'd like Aaron Oppenheimer to say a few words about what happens before lunch with these kids as they make the tour, basically, of city facilities. So Amy, would you like to say a few words first?
Thank you, Don, and thank you, City Council, for allowing this day to happen. I used to work in our school district. I am a big believer that if you teach our children, we're going to have a better future. And what better way to learn than by doing? So this is wonderful. This is something my dad loved from the bottom of his heart to teach the kids and get them involved in our city. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. So let me explain a little bit of how that plaque got up on the wall over here in the back of the city council chambers. Jim Reininger, Amy's dad, was on the city council with me in the early 90s. And he was very active in the American Legion, who sponsored taking kids from Sun Prairie to county government day at City Hall or the city county building in Madison every year. Well, on this particular year in the early 90s, I'm not sure exactly which year it was, the city county building was under remodeling and they had canceled county government day for that year. Jim, being the activist he is regarding kids being involved in knowing how their local government worked, approached me and asked me what I thought of the idea of doing the city government day, since there was going to be no county government day that year. We talked about it and it seemed like a good idea to me. We approached Hannon, the city administrator, and we all decided it was a good thing to do for the city. So city government day was born, with the council adopting it, the staff and the school system putting together an agenda to get it going. Believe me, this program or this event struggled in the early years. It was difficult to get coordination. It was difficult to get the schools to figure out exactly who they wanted to bring. It was as difficult for them to get coordination as it was for the city to get coordination. But we made it through it, and then Susan took over, and I wish I could remember her name, but there was this fantastic woman from the school system, I believe her name was Jean something, who ran the Gifted Talented program, and between her and Susan, they made sure that it ran smoothly every single year, and it has ever since. So, as I said before, the activity is sponsored by a grant given by Amy's family, the Reiningers, to pay for the lunch and the plaques that are presented to this every year. So again, thanks to Amy and her family for doing that. That about, I guess, brings you up to date. I'd like Aaron to say a few words now about what exactly these kids do during the day, and then I'll kind of give you a brief overview of what happens in the afternoon when I pester kids and Aaron pesters on to be involved in the event. So Aaron, go ahead.
Happy to help them. So we start off in the morning, in fact, Mayor Esser and I give a welcome to the students that come, and we talk about the relationship we'd like to have with them of considering government as a career, public service, and make sure they're aware of all the different things that they could be involved in, both with, say, finance or engineering or many of our other disciplines that we have, legal and planning, and so make sure that they kind of are aware of public service as an option for them. And so we talk about that in our welcome, and kind of introduce them to the city, and then they take a series of tours. So they tour the fire department and EMS, they tour the police department, and that kind of brings them up to lunchtime, and as Don mentioned, the Lock City Council meeting. So I'll turn it back over to you, Don. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Once the kids return from lunch, we all meet here. The schools have predetermined which students are going to play you all up there. They have people designated to be city council people, a mayor, a city attorney, a city clerk, a city administrator. All the positions lined here, they have pre-selected somebody to fill those roles in your absence there. So we all gather, everybody gets seated, and they have also predetermined a question which is going to be the subject of the public hearing that's being conducted at this Mott City Council meeting. What was it this year? Something about straws?
Yes, there was two topics that we gave them to debate this year. As Don mentioned, plastic straw ban was their first topic. The second topic was dogs in city parks.
So